Hello. My name is Lindsey Latham. I am 42. My birthday is June 5th. I was born in 1982. I am a mother of a 5-year-old with no co parent, no baby daddy, no child support. I am an entrepreneur, fully self employed, and have been legally since I had my child. I've never been able to exist in a world where I was working for someone else for very long. I could work, but I wasn't going to hold any kind of job for very long. I was a bartender for a long time. I got into corporate sales at one point, which was very stressful. And I did that for, even that, I didn't do that long. Not even 2 years. Probably not even close to a year and a half. Why? Because I wasn't supposed to be doing that. I wasn't supposed to be working a regular job. That is, well, I was supposed to have the experience and gain the experience, but it wasn't what I was supposed to be doing with my life. It wasn't my purpose. So don't be hard on yourself. If you are in alignment with me and you are finding my content, that means that we have a lot of things in common and that there are things for us to learn from each other. And the day I realized that I couldn't hold a job and I didn't want to hold a job because I wasn't supposed to be. It isn't my life purpose. All of the shame and guilt that has come behind not being able to hold a fucking full-time 9 to 5 job is insane. The amount of shaming that I have gone through from society, parents, yada, yada, yada. People look at you fucked up if you can't hold a job. If you can't hold a job, it's because you're not supposed to. And you're not dumb. And you're not going to allow yourself to be in uncomfortable situations to appease others. Because that's what I was doing. I was putting myself in uncomfortable situations that I hated to make other people happy because I was, if not, I was, shamed for it. Well, time for that shit is over. Oh, shit. So I just wanted to come on here and kind of do like a little introduction video. Plus, I am working on getting in the habit of doing more long form videos. I am a 100% no tools psychic, spirit medium. It's really hard to put a label on my practice because it's very expansive and extensive. I have been practicing Yusui Reiki since I was 24. I guess I'm almost 43. I've been at the master teacher level for Reiki since my son was born. So since 2020. So this July, it will be 5 years since I've been at the master teacher level. I stayed at the master level for 13 years before moving to the master teacher level because I was a struggling with hardcore drug addiction for a very long time with heroin and I mean, you name it really, but heroin and speed were the main culprits. I jumped into heroin addiction. I had a conscious thought about it. I was like, I'm going to do this because I had been using heroin for a long time, but I was never to that status to where it was like, oh, I consider myself a junkie. I had never reached that level of heroin addiction, so I decided that I needed the experience in my tool belt in order to be able to be as effective and help more people in the future. It was a conscious thought. I jumped in. And it was a lot harder to get out of than I thought it was going to be. It took, I mean, besides the fact that I've been using it on and off for, I mean, a very long time. I don't know how, since I was 18 or something like that. But I didn't jump headfirst into it, like really go for it until like 2016 or so. And then it took about 4 years before I could get out of it. And I was trying to get out of it 2 years in. It was a lot harder to get out of than I thought it was going to be. But also through that process, this is another thing. If you're struggling with drug addiction, don't be so fucking hard on yourself, okay? Because if it wasn't for that drug addiction, I would have never figured out my purpose. I would have never found out who I was, and my life would have never made sense. So it was in the midst of this that I figured out that I was a medium and that my whole life made sense. So once I had that experience, once I knew that I was a medium and everything made sense, I was like, oh my God, I got to get clean. That flipped the switch. That flipped the switch to where I was like, oh, whoa, I understand my life now. I know what my purpose is. Now I want to get off drugs. Because before then, I didn't want to get off them. I was in that, and I was commenting on one of my videos, and there was a lot of despair in this woman's comment, and I remember being there. I was there. I was like, what is the point of this shit? What is the point of being here? I was going to hold myself up in a hotel and shoot meth until I died. I didn't care. I was like, what is the point? Then I got the point. Then I figured out that I was a medium. I mean, I don't know if we want to go into that story right now, but when I figured out I was a medium, that was it. Then I had the wherewithal and the want to get clean because I knew what I was doing. I knew who I was. I knew what power I had. But it took, and I'm not talking about power over other people. I'm talking about power from within to change my life and to make sense of things and to help others. I do not have any want or need or fantasy about having power over others or, I mean, at all. I want power over myself. I had to take a little break there. I got emotional. So, your drug use has its purpose. It's just important that you know in your heart that the goal is to get out of it. The goal is to learn the lesson. It's a spiritual life lesson. This is my perspective. It doesn't have to be yours. I encourage you to find your own. I am in no way a teacher of perspectives. I am a teacher of find your own fucking perspective, be your own teacher. And I'll help you with psychic development. That is one thing that I can help you with, is psychic development. But even then, that is something that is very individualized to you. So I'm only going to be able to take you so far, or help you so far. You're going to have to figure out your own path, in a sense. That's just how it is. It's earned. It's like a inheritance. But it is you. It is your core operating system. It's like the game is earning your way back to it. And how do you do that? By completely, this is how I did it. I did drugs. This isn't what I suggest you do, okay? By any means. I am not suggesting you do drugs. Don't come for me. I did drugs because I was deeply sad and deeply lost. And it is how I found myself. I had to numb the outside world out so much to the point that I did not give a fuck what anyone thought. And me not giving a fuck what anyone thinks is difficult, because I have been telepathic, and I have been online telepathically, like hearing other people's thoughts, communicating with people's unconscious and consciousness since I was 18 or 19 years old. So I can hear what people think of me, like if they were standing in the room with me. So not giving a fuck what people think is on some other shit with me, because I know what they're thinking without them even having to say anything. And that is not even fucking half of it, because I'm an intuitive empath also. So I can also feel what they're feeling, the people around me are feeling and thinking. It's like it is on some other shit. So in order for me to be able to harness that and find solidarity and find sovereignty and peace, I had to completely get on the outskirts of society in order to do that. And even while I was on the outskirts of society, on the streets, prostituting my body, everything that comes with addiction and living on the streets. If you can imagine. If you're here, you probably can. I was still doing Reiki. That was how I was funding my addiction. A lot of the time was doing Reiki with my own little spin on things, and I started to have all of these psychic experiences. I was so numb that I started getting them out of my mouth. Like, I would be working on someone and I would hear, connect with ascended children. I would hear something like that. And I would be with a client and I would be like, do you have children that have passed? And he's like, why are you asking me that? And I'm like, I mean, like, children, plural, like more than one child that has passed, because they're showing up for this session, this Reiki session. And this guy was like, when he was 18, just out of high school, had a pregnant girlfriend. They were going to get married. She was pregnant with twins, and they got in a car accident and they all died. So these unborn babies were showing up for this man. Okay, so I'm starting to have these experiences. And it's starting to solidify my truth. It's starting to show me that I'm not crazy. I have proof. I'm starting to gather all of this proof. And then when I used to read tarot, but not regular tarot cards, I always had an Osho Zen deck. I had one Osho Zen deck for 19 years that I used, and it finally got stolen. But it was one of those things that I was attached to. Anything you get attached to, you better get unattached to it or you're going to lose it. That's all I got to say. Master non-attachment for sure. Outcomes, people, places, things, fucking everything. Whew. So, I've actually only charged for a tarot reading once. And this was because they confuse me. I don't need them. So, but I'm very grateful for this tarot deck. My sister Kristen gave them to me on my 19th birthday. I think by age 37 they were gone. So it wasn't quite 19 years. Not quite. 18. Anyway, they're like the spiritual deep rendition of the regular tarot deck plus a card, plus the master card. So it's like they can translate into a regular tarot deck. They're the same but different. I've always been a very deeply spiritually inclined person, even before I even knew what that was. So this guy contacts me and he wanted a tarot reading. So I was like, okay. I charged him $35. I'd never met this guy before. His name was Carlos. I do remember his name. And I definitely remember his wife's name. So I was at a friend's house. And the whole mediumship thing just happened out of nowhere. Like, I thought I was just, making shit up. But it was true. And all of this came in one night, my understanding. I was at my friend Richard's house. Richard, his grandfather had passed away. And it's a big Mexican family. So his grandfather had passed away and he wanted me to come over and hang out. So I came over and hang out. And in this Mexican family, they had two houses that they owned right across from each other. And so they were partying, and his uncle was there, and his uncle had just lost his dad, okay, and so I'm talking to the grandpa, the past grandpa, the uncle's dad, my friend's grandpa, and I'm talking to him inside of my head, and I'm like, well, if you want me to tell them what you're saying, I'm talking to him, I'm like, you're going to have to tell me something to tell them that there's no way that I could have known, or they're going to think I'm fucking crazy. That's what I'm telling the grandpa in my head. And he's like, okay. He's like, talk about to my son that time that We were at a family reunion and he kissed his cousin. He was making out with his cousin. It ended up being a running joke between him and his dad, pretty much his whole life or whatever. So I said to him, I was like, do you remember going to a family reunion or something when you were like 17? You were a teenager. And he was like, at first it's like, no, it takes people a little second to like catch up or whatever. But here it turns out they were at like a family gathering type thing down in Mexico. And he was making out with one of his cousins, and he didn't know that it was one of his cousins. And it was a running joke between him and his dad pretty much his whole life. So it was like, but even then, I have been having experiences like that throughout my life over, the past, in my 30s, okay? Because at this point, I'm like 36. And I had experiences to where I had proof, but it was like I was communicating with my grandpa who had passed away and relaying it to my grandmother. And it was like things were aligning. It's a story for another day. But I was like, oh, it's because it's my grandpa. It's like we completely discredit ourselves before we even fathom giving ourselves credit because of the conditioning. It's because of conditioning. It's because we have been conditioned out of our power. Period, point blank, motherfucking exclamation point. So, but when I had strangers, I didn't know his uncle. I didn't know the grandpa. I'd never met him. And then when I have Carlos, this guy that I've also never met, sitting across from me, talking about how he wants to find love again. He did have a wife. They were soulmates. She got cancer, died suddenly. That was years prior. So imagine, you're like 30. You're married to your soulmate. You look forward to this life of being with them forever, and then all of a sudden they get cancer and they die out of nowhere. So this poor guy, he was like, I can't get past like the first date with women, da 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 da. And all of a sudden, I mean, we pulled one card, and I don't even remember what it might have been like the tuning in card. I wish I could remember what card it was, because I think it was tuning in. The tuning in card. I mean, come on. Tuning in. So it was talking to me. It wasn't even talking to him. The cards is what I'm saying. All of a sudden, I'm like, and this reading is going on forever. It was like 45 minutes, an hour in, and I pulled one card, and we're just like, going back and forth. And then I was like, does your wife's name start with an L, an O, or an R? And then it felt like this, I closed my eyes, and it felt like this extremely long pause. Like forever, like 30 seconds. It was only like 2 seconds, I'm sure. And he goes, an L. And I said, Lorena? And he said, another long pause, right? He said, that's it. That's her name. My whole body flushed. I got like it flushed. I started crying. And I gave him a hug. His wife was spelling her name in my ear. I could hear her plain as day, like she was standing next to me. Lor, Lor, Lor. I finally understood what my purpose was. I finally understood why I was different. Although at a core level, the same as everyone. We are all fundamentally the same at our core. We're all just in different places, different parts of our journey and understanding. And we are all here to learn from each other and grow inward in unity. every time that I have a mediumship experience, it never gets old. It is so natural to me that it's mind-boggling. It's an absolute mind fuck because the mind cannot understand it. It comes from beyond the mind. See, our minds are screwed until you can get control over it and make it work for you. Our minds are what has been hijacked. You literally have to hijack that shit back and then tame it, or else it'll run your life. What do you think addiction is? I don't agree with calling addiction a disease. I think that's fucking bullshit. It is definitely a conditioning of the mind. It takes some, effort to get off drugs for sure. You gotta want it. And everybody told me that. But every time I got thrown in rehab, it was because somebody else was afraid I was gonna die. Well, I was taken care of the whole fucking time. I wasn't going anywhere. I don't think I could die. Somebody tried to kill me, I think that some freak accident would happen and I wouldn't die. That's how many times I could have died or should have died, especially in heroin addiction. I cannot tell you how many times I have OD'd. And if any of my friends come across this, they can fucking vouch for me for that shit. Friends from the past who have brought me back to life a bunch of times. I am supposed to be here talking to you about these things. This is why I am here. I am here to help you get to your core operating system, which has been hijacked from your mind through conditioned society and all the fucked up shit going on outside of your body. I am here to help you get back to you and your core operating system, which is brilliant. You are nothing shy of pure brilliance. You have the power to literally shift reality with a mere thought and a look. And I don't like to blame people. I don't like to blame anything on how fucked up the world is. People are stupid and people create things not realizing what is going to become of it 10, 20, 30, 100 years down the line. People are stupid. It's a flaw. We are flawed. We are dumb. I am dumb. Everybody is dumb. Nobody knows everything. And people are fundamentally stupid by default. And unfortunately, this stupid decision sometimes turned into monstrous disasters. I also feel that if there was not that flaw, life would not be perfectly designed the way that it is. This is what we are doing here. We are living life. We're here to fuck up, learn from it, ascend out of the manipulation back into our core operating system, which is of power, brilliance, intuition, in just literally pure, the word I'm looking for, it's omnipotence, maybe? Omnipotence. It's like perfection. Ultimate power. Power over your own energy. Not power over others. Not the power to rule the world. That isn't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the power that you have within you to change your life provide for yourself, create prosperity, work in unison with this universal force that is working at your favor for everything. Everything is for your benefit. To work with that force to live and enjoy life the way that you want it, not a way that is being inflicted onto you from outside sources for playing the game, for just, you know, working a job because you fucking have to. No. You know, playing the game. Letting the man dictate what the fuck you do. Nobody wants to live like that. Why would anybody want to live like that? That isn't life. That is slavery. So, what I'm talking about is getting back to your core operating system so you can create the life that you want, free and devoid of the slavery. Mental, emotional, spiritual, physical slavery. Mental slavery is almost worse than physical slavery. It is fucking worse. But you don't have to be in it. I've been out of mental prison for a long time now. And it just keeps getting better and better and better and better and better. And I know that I'm taken care of by God. I know that word freaks people out. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about this universal force that works in unison with us, that we are not separate from. It's an extension of us. We are an extension of it. We are it. I am that. Okay. If you made it this far in this video, I would love to meet you. Please comment and let me know if you have any questions, what you would like me to make a video on. Make it something good so I can make you a long form video, because I really want to build this channel to create more freedom for my son and I. And I am available for readings. I'm also an animal communicator. I have been finding pets, lost pets, for pet owners all over the United States, but I will work worldwide. I have a process that I created to do that, and it's been a little over a year now since I've been doing it and perfecting it. I'm still perfecting it, and so that is something that I offer. I'm available for one-on-one readings, channeled, not tarot, mediumship also, and pretty soon here I'm going to be starting up my class again for the Foundations of Psychic Development. I will let you guys know when I'm ready to accept signups. It's something that I'm considering. Oh, and I also certify others in Usui Reiki levels 1, 2, master, and master teacher. If that is something you are interested in, which I highly recommend, even if you are serious about your psychic development, becoming a Reiki practitioner is essential. It helps you, period. Regardless of if you are working on other people or not. You don't have to do that. You can just work on yourself for practice. You can work on animals. You know, you do with it whatever the fuck you want to do with it, pretty much. But it will help you with psychic development. It is a part of the natural flow of becoming a Reiki practitioner. It's something that naturally happens. Okay. Just send me a message through the contact form on my website, or my email address is up there on the page also. Don't forget to subscribe. My name is Lindsey Latham. Bye.